Hi class, welcome back. We're going to be doing lesson 4, horizontal and vertical lines today. So just as a quick recall from our before the break lesson on horizontal and vertical lines, if you go back to lesson 5, I believe it was, where we did a little bit of an extra, and we talked about the slope of any horizontal line and any slope of any vertical line. So we said the slope of any of any horizontal line is just 0, right? Because when we did y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, it gave us some number, so some number y over 0, because there was no, so it gave us 0 over some random x number because there was no rise to that equation, so it would just give us 0. This is important to remember. The slope is 0, not undefined, because you can do 0 divided by 4. It'll just give you 0. You just can't do the opposite, which is 4 divided by 0. So I feel like a lot of you had gotten that question wrong on your test. Something important to remember on your quiz, and so it's something important to remember for our upcoming test. The slope of a vertical line is undefined, because in this situation, you were given something that gave you a calculation error, right? So you were given something like x over 0, right? Y over 0, because while there was a rise, there was no run. So you had y over 0, okay? So I'm going to do a few things here. So for line B, the first thing I'm going to go and find is like, all right, where does this intercept with the y-axis? Intercepts right here. So my y-axis is 0, b, right? Or 0 and 5. You probably can't see that right now, but that's a 5. Okay? And then I'm going to go look at so that was line A. So we're going to go look at line B now. Doesn't have a y-intercept, but it does have a x-intercept. So I like to write these as a 0, right? And it is -3 and 0 is the x-intercept there. So maybe I'll put that in a different color. We'll put that in orange. So one thing I'd like to just note here, for the horizontal line that was done in green, just look at it. The slope is going to be 0. So if I have something like y equals mx plus b, I can just start plugging stuff in. I know slope is 0, and my b is just going to be 5, right? Because that was my y-intercept, so b is 5. So let's put it in. So the equation becomes y equals 0 times x plus 5. 0 times x is just 0, so y equals 5 is the equation. For any vertical line, the equation is always y equals b, where b is the y-intercept. Okay? That's because no matter what point you go on this graph, if you go to x of 5, if you go to x of 2, -2, if you go to x of positive 4, positive 7, your y will always be 5, right? Because it's a horizontal line. So it's safe to say that this line will always be at 5. So the line is y equals 5. Okay? So let's try, that was line A. So let's try with line B. Line B here, I'm just going to go and put it in the nice purple color that we have happening. Or actually, we had said it was orange. So let's go get an orange highlighter here. Right, so this orange highlighter represents line B. Right? What do you notice? This has a undefined slope. So unfortunately, a vertical line, I'm just going to write that in. A vertical line has an undefined slope, right? So we have no m. In this situation, no matter what y value you pick, right, the x is always going to be 3 or negative 3. So what we say is that x is equal to negative 3, which is true because no matter where you are on the line, x will always equal negative 3. So when we say for a vertical, sorry, this was for a horizontal line. My apologies. So for any vertical line, the equation, so EQN just means equation, is always x, is because y changes in the vertical line. The y is different every time you go up. X is equal to a, where a is the x-intercept. Cool? Because every value of x is going to stay the same because it's staying on the same horizontal plane, but vertically it's going up or down on the y-axis. Okay? So I'm just going to go write in that same rule over here. The equation of any horizontal line is going to be y equals b, where b is the y-intercept, right? And for any vertical line, y is equal to a, where a is the x-intercept. Cool? So when we're looking at these, it's going to be really easy for us to determine which one is a horizontal line and which one is a vertical line. So all the horizontal lines are going to start with y equals something. So in this situation, we have y equals 6. We have y equals negative 3. Right, so I'm going to make y equals negative 3 green. We have y equals 6, y equals negative 3. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to say, okay, so y equals 6 means that my y-axis will cross, or my line will cross the y-axis at 6. Since I know it's a horizontal line, I know it's just going to go all the way across this way on the 6. And again, your lines are always going to look nicer than mine because you use rulers and I don't. Right? So you have it going that way, and then it's going to go across on the 6 this way. And we got ourselves our y equals 6. Okay? So I'm just going to go in and highlight that for you so that you can see. Alrighty. And then you have y equals negative 3. So I know that y is going to cross here at negative 3. I also know that it's a horizontal line, so it's just going to continue across the vertical axis here. And then same this way. You got to put the arrows in, otherwise it's not right. I'm just going to go in and highlight this as well so that you know that that's the one I'm talking about. X is equal to 4. We know that x is equal to 4 means that this is a vertical line. Right? So x is equal to 4 means that it's going to cross the x-axis at some point at 4, 0. right? And we know it's a vertical line, so we're just going to draw a line from here to here, straight line going up and down. And that's my answer. Okay. And for the sake of knowing which line is which, we're going to do it this way. And then last but not least, you have x is equal to 7, which we know is also a vertical line because you have x is equal to some number. We know that x is going to be equal to negative 7 here. It's a vertical line, so we're just going to draw the line in. This seems to be pretty easy stuff. All right, and then so I'm just going to go in and say, all right, x was 7, negative 7, and that's that line. And now I have all those lines drawn. You can also find point of intersections like this if you draw them out. I didn't ask for those, so we won't go over them. Okay? Now, it says determine the equation of the following linear relations. I could go in and draw these, and then say, okay, I'll draw in 4 and 5, and I'll draw in 4 and negative 5, and I'll draw in 4 and 3, and I'll be like, all right, where do they intersect? What do they look like? But if I look here and I look at the 4 for the x here, and I look for the 4 for the x here, x is staying constant. So if the x is staying constant, it means that there is no run, so it's only rising, which means this is a vertical line. And I know that the equation for a vertical line is x is equal to a. And I know my a value is just going to be whatever x is. And if x is always going to be 4, x equals 4. And that is my equation. Same idea over here. My x's are changing now, but my y's are staying the same, which means that this is a horizontal line because y stays consistent in a horizontal line. So y's are constant. So this is a horizontal line. And in a horizontal line, the y will always equal whatever it is here. So it's always going to equal negative 2. It won't change. Okay? And then if we go over to example 3, right? And it says match the linear equation with each graph that best represents it. Let's just go in and do the ones that we know are the easiest first. I know that y is equal to 4 represents a horizontal line. So let's just go in and find which one of these represents a horizontal line. Not this one, not this one, not this one, but it is the last one. So this one is B. Right? And this is how you do multiple choice for a test or quiz or matching. I know that x equals 5 represents a vertical line. I know that x equals any number represents a vertical line. Right? I know it's positive 5. It's going to intercept at positive 5 here. So I know that C is this one. Now this is where it gets complicated. I can look at two things here. I can look at either the y-intercepts or I can look at the slopes. I'm going to look at the slopes. I notice this is a negative and I notice this is a positive, which means that one of these will point up and one of these will point down. If it's a negative slope, it's pointed down. And it intercepts at positive 3. So I'm just going to go look. Which one is pointed down? Not this one. This one is pointed down. And it looks like it intercepts at something positive. Right? So I'm going to say this is A. Right? And then I'm going to go look at this one. This seems to be pointed up at negative 3. So pointed up intersects at negative 3. This makes sense that it would be D. And that's how you would solve those questions. And that is it for this lesson. Thank you.